social media platforms. We are back to continue with good. I had mentioned earlier, we are going to be on prior learning. That is the recognition of prior learning. And joining me for this particular conversation, as it is right, Stanley Kiptis, and he is the chairperson of the Education Authority Council. Welcome to Good Morning, Ken.
Thank you, Vivian. Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to have been invited on this discussion, educationally oriented, and Kenyans are really ready.
Okay, and we're expecting that is Dr. Esther Moria. She should be joining us. Before she gets to join us, Honorable, continue with you. Kindly talk to me about the recognition of pride.
Thank you very much, Vivian. I want to appreciate that education is dynamic, all-inclusive. RPL, recognition of prior learning, 2015, Education Authority, and trying to bridge the in the education sector. In Kenya, we have a number of learners. We have also those due to maybe conflict. They are maybe internally displaced or migrants from other countries. They have been marginalized and closed out of. They cannot access education. It's mostly formal. RPL is a process of recognize those persons who have acquired some competencies through non-formal or informal. That's why we have the RPL.
It's now here with us. It's already been passed as a said, so it is happening.
Yeah,
right?
It's happening now. Education Authority works with some regulators, institutions that are offering. We have NITA, we have TVETA, in ensuring that those of us who are career acquired through non-formal sector. We have NITA.
Yeah.
Like ILO and the UNESCO. Very program. Yes.
Why are you watching and is wondering why it's so important for us to recognize, prior learning?
We have who have skills who have not been identified or satisfied. So the RPL comes on that those persons' skills, yes, they are also recognized. That's the reason behind RPL.
Yeah. So it's mainly in the sector?
No, they are now in the job market. A number of them, they are delivering services out there. Craftsmen. We have carpenters. We have they are actually displaying skills. They are in the job market, but they have not been recognized. They are experiences that they have actually acquired along the way. We identified a gap through this process of RPL. Yes.
How does it someone who's seeking further education and certification
will move one from the formal, from the non-formal to the formal pathways in this country. We have the one that's education development, goes to the basic education, that's primary, secondary, and then Alana moves forward to all the way from what we could refer 6 to level 10, that is to PhD. We just actually been there for quite some time. The one that maybe Alana moves from the study diploma or certificate, they are referred to as artisans or craftsmen pathway, and they can join in level 6 or a degree. But we have this other group that has actually been identified. They have not been also known that they are. Or that group who maybe one way or another could not actually complete their studies or the formal pathway. Now that is on board. They need also to access education and training system. This group are the ones that are now being enabled through this new pathway, which is the third path group that is now going to be so much like championed in.
How is the recognition?
Now you're asking about the importance of this.
Yes.
It's very important because this pathway is also flexible enough to accommodate them. Carry out right where they are. We have identified 10 polytechnics.
Yeah.
Education awarding institutions.
Yeah.
Institutions are the ones that are going to assist they're going to assist in assessing these persons. Yes.
Those who maybe are just joining us, recognition of prior learning in Kenya, and the recognition in Kenya is the process of identifying and certifying knowledge attitudes regardless of how, when, or what occurred. You know, there are so many people who have massive experience. People like hairdressers, they have doing hairdressing for years, but they are not certified. RPL is coming in. It is coming in to just certify skills that someone already in the formal or informal sector. And right now, Esther Moria is here with us. Dr. Esther Moria at TVET. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You've
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to with us. You've just found us having recognition of prior learning is. We've also talked and how it will benefit individuals seeking add on to how it is benefit people who are seeking further.
Thank you for having me this morning. It's a pleasure. I've already said, and like I found you make the statement of learning is recognizing and eventually certifying skills and competencies already acquired. This is for Kenyans, because as now we talk MTP4, we are talking about moving together. Therefore, we want to include even those who have a lot of things for us as a country, but only lacking is the certification. So on board, assess them and certify them, their role entirely in the country as brought on board as people who to even participate in the industrialization. Yes.
Maybe someone may be asking, why do really, because if I've been doing my plumbing for 10 years with no certification, why do I really?
We need the certificate because applying for government jobs, then you need them. And it comes to having to go into, we are looking at export in this country. You need certification even in labor export, and you need a certificate. We are looking, as a government, we are looking where this country is going to be well industrialized. Industries come in and need to work with, then you need the papers. In any case, for the absolute functionality, that also gives an individual that recognition, that feeling that you belong with all may have gone through the formal education. So even for, you know, even for personal recognition of your own self as a person who role in this nation, you need that certificate. Tool. Yes.
Let me also add, Vivian, is the evidence of acquired skills. The person has no paper, nothing to show, preparing for an interview or presenting for consideration. They might be pictures or photos or videos. So this kind of recognition, that very importance of being realized. Yeah, so it's evidence of what they have done. Yeah, and mobility. If one moves to another country, but to the employer or the person who wants maybe that kind of competence to be done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe what prompted the recognition of prior learning? What prompted it?
The Kenya government, through the Ministry of Education and Kenya National Qualification Authority, we have a number of work, like the carpenters, the hairdressers, electricians, to, for example, behind a nation center, with brushes. They are just seated somewhere, waiting, maybe supported. So these are the group that we mainstream part. Let them get to be recognized. Maybe carpenters, because they have been seen. You go to Chuakali sector, for example, you get a number of sectors. But when you inquire from them, how far have you gone? They don't have any paper to present or to me. So this will create employability, and also will make them maybe get. Yeah, they are in the formal. This will transit them now to the formal sector of education.
Yeah.
Yes.
From informal. Who is it? Everyone?
Everyone. Everyone is. As long as you have got the skill and competence, everyone is eligible. And what happens? Everyone. When we bring you on board, we will be place you at the level of competency. The process is quite rigorous because, again, want as a ministry to be accused of giving papers that are not authentic qualifications. So we process and we place you at the level of your competence. Level 3, we have level 4. It is in your competence. So the process of assessment is quite rigorous.
Yeah, if you may just take me through the. I know that Honorable Stanley, you had mentioned earlier than where someone is at.
Yes.
You know, so how does that work?
National Authority have accredited I mentioned earlier that there are 10.
Yes.
That is now of institutions. We refer to them as qualification awarding. Do that. Now, they have also an assessment. We are now in the process of ensuring that TOTs in our institutions. That's what we are doing. So creating awareness in the society for those of them to be aware of this. So we have the institutions like we have Kitale Technical Polytechnic, we have Nyeri that actually will carry on with this. We have NITA. They are also in Nairobi. They are cutting across this country. Those are the institutions that carry with that assessment. They will do that assessment. Education. Now, the assessed will really apply through these institutions. The person is somebody in the village who has not gone to school, but wants to apply. The information is out there that have actually gone through this. It was piloted. On Friday, we are going to have the first cohort of the institutions that are there, as I mentioned, institutions. Those are the ones that will carry on to that exercise. To these institutions through a portal that is, and then they will be assessed. Institution, or they will visit the area of work and what one has done practically there. The language barrier is not going to be so much. Use the language which is understood by them. And you know, we are in Kenya, probably must be more of Kiswahili.
Yeah.
It's a bit acceptable. But they can actually interact using that home language.
Understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really everyone is involved. It does not matter whether you really went to school. No, everyone is truly just involved in this.
May add to what Honorable has said. Using all our QAIs, the qualification, that is our national polytechnics, as the but all our institutions are assessment centers. So those with the skills of our institutions,
all of them, because he mentioned there are 10.
Those are the but you can be assessed for wherever we have a national polytechnic, any of our institutions around it, in any of our centers, and then forwarded to the national polytechnics, which is the qualification award qualification. Like we said earlier on, the process and our Tibet authority has come up with a tool, which, like I said, is quite rigorous. So you will tool at any of our centers, and you will be assessed, and the level that is determined to the National Polytechnic for certification. Is eligible as long as you think you have a. After the certification, the good thing is that you upgrade your skill. If we place you at one, that is the end. You can go ahead, we can train there, and the training doesn't have to be, you don't have to stay there, but we can give you an training field where we have what we call assessors. Like we have the housing, the now, where we are going to have the as our master assessors, as our master, as a fundi in the like in the affordable housing fundi, we may have or will assess you, and then we place you under that master trainer, the foreman on that project, and then grade your skills on that project. At the end, this affordable housing program that we have, as from the institutions, as the assessors, upgrade you or grade you in the first place if you had not. Really, by the end of a project, either upgraded or graded and.
All right. On that note, we take a short break, but don't you go too far. We'll be with this conversation on the recognition of prior.
Hi, I'm Lynette Ayuko in the Safari Rally. I started rallying 2010. Different drivers, made sure they've gotten to the rally. Yes, I've won different awards every year for the last almost 14 years. And it's been me, being given an opportunity by majority of the male drivers, so being given an opportunity to navigate. Possible, and then now ending up sitting with the ladies, it's possible too. I'm hoping to do the full season. That's my goal every one. This year we missed, the car was not ready for starting with Safari. I'm hoping to see. I love the Kenyan Awards because it makes me want to show up and also to plug in, and I'm hoping during the season because I am tired of being alone. Best different there are stages you getting through Kedong. My Kedong is the important days, and also Sleeping Warrior and Kedong. I find them the most complicated, and then they might be short, but it's tricky. But I normally look stages because once you get those through the three stages, support follow the rally through KBC. Good job. Looking forward to this year. Also, come support, drive, give way to the drivers, and just that it's possible and enjoy.
Welcome back. And as with me is the PS TVET, that is Dr. and Honorable Stanley Kiptis, the chairperson Authority Council. Now, before I get into my next topic, you were just telling us about what's done and the training, and the previous on this same conversation, on this same topic, that was on assessment and training. And one of the panelists, this being more of an assessment and more on assessing people, not really the training, but you can continue. You know, when you're given this particular level, also training involved. There's also training involved.
There is training involved, but no is still practical.
Okay.
We may not necessarily to train you, but we are giving you to sharpen your skills while still, where I mentioned, for instance, the affordable that are very active with us, where we will assess you and give you continue learning under the master training in industry. Or we in Juakali, the Juakali sector, which is very this country. We may assess you at level according to our assessment tools. And there are people in Juakali who are with what they do. We may place you, or we may under a trainer, continuous, and we would assess you at a later stage to place you at a training, the Vivian, which is different from the traditional. And it is this apprenticeship or absolutely skills our youth, so trained and skilled and competent are doing it within industry, as opposed to theory learning in class.
Yeah.
Yes.
And right now it's also on skill based, so it is, you know,
Yes.
you know, to the RPL, if I may.
Vivian, let me add on the issue of the difference between the current one. Now, in the formal one, you know, mostly written. They are what has gone into the mind.
Yeah.
But this one does. They test the practicability. What is? You don't require more Kenya. There is nothing like fakes. No assistance from whichever corner. It is more practical. You and the industrial expert assessment. The industrial expert will be part of that assessment from this institution that we have mentioned, but we have the industrial there who will also be in a position of, and the language also. I indicated to us that when we use either English, French, German, but this we use a language that is understandable, assessed. Those are some of the major differences.
Let me add a new aspect training, which we are calling ujuzi mashinani, in the villages, into the remote areas, training those young people on. And then we have what we may call the internal institutions who will assess these young people where they are, as well as now the people we are who actually know how to do this. I'll give you a in Isiolo, we have those we are training in ujuzi mashinani who are actually learning this. And they a thing like repair of motorbikes, like mobile phone repair, and so when it comes to us, our people coming from our institutions, those who have actually been training them out there in the field, where actually so even when I need to talk to them, because we don't need the language, to be able to train them. They are being trained by those old men and women. In one of our institutions, they have even brought up a tattoo in an old man who knows the traditional weaving tools
yeah.
and skills. So they are going to, this man, this old man, very old actually, is going to assessment, and we are going to assess those students in our institutions, those ones in the field who are willing to be certified. Traditional and non-traditional is what we want to leverage on, so that inclusive, a pertinent part of the MTP4 is brought in, is included in this process. So we have the internal, and whether we are assessing our own students or to bring this inclusivity, and we want to move development of our country with every. Yes.
Now, there have been memes to just bring this in. Sometimes they talk about, you know, in class learning titration and all, some being taught how to make mobile phones, you know, something that in future. So where do we draw the line here? You know, talk about RPL, which is more of skill-based. It's more of something, you know. Where do we draw the line between that and not going to school? Because now some people will say, oh, what's the classroom, you know, from Form 1 to Form 4, and it's when I already know maybe I want to become a plumber. So
now, let's be sincere. Through the system, which is the formal system, over time, because one, you are to choose in career, but this informal sector, you don't choose. You have chosen it there to start learning.
yeah.
So that's the difference also. And then also one cannot grow the entry point, re-entry and entry point, because in the RPL sector, but one must to level 6 in the level 6 descriptors. You can't move a graduate. You can't go there because you must have an. This is there, and you find also this. There is a employability is a challenge. So, but we need to feel now through this RPL. So, call it. Maybe that's a perception that will be addressed over time. Yes. You know, it's part of the challenge, and awareness about that very understanding of why this, and you know, the RPL is coming to give those of them that are, and they are not being identified. So, because they are already there. Yes, while this education, there are those who are disadvantaged, probably school region they are in. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. To add to that, Vivian, earlier on, why RPL? Where did it come from? This came from the government's. We have a lot of our young people out there, skills and the competencies, but not certified. And the need for the certification. We as government have realized as let us advantage those of young people who are out there, who have got competencies, but not yet certified. Now, all that populace, and like I have said, or skilling out there who may not afford to come to school because language like English, like Kiswahili, and they don't have. We are going to. There is the big space now of choice. Young people henceforth will have a choice to. In the first world, Vivian, like in where I lastly was, there are those young people go into the industries for apprenticeship. They are certified. So it is not a new thing. Even the pragmatic model that we as a ministry in this country for skilling our those who are in industry, they learn in more education for just a few years. Then they go, they learn there, they are skilled there, they are certified. At that point, they may even choose to go to the in their countries, but really they have very little and it is accepted. We are looking at a space in this we have to recharter our technique so that even this who we are talking about now want now with their certificates to move on to universities and have a degree. It should be. That is our dream as a government. Whether you have learned formally or informally, you can go to the top as long as we in the education sector are watching your competencies, are watching your abilities, should be able to certify them right to the top.
But the very top, how many levels are there?
Level 6 is diploma, then level 7 and level 8 is master. 9 is PhD.
Okay.
Yes.
So how wide is RPL in the different industries that we have in Kenya?
This is where we want to go, Vivian. We have this His Excellency the Deputy President regarding our guest of honor. We want Kenyans to hear this almost that we are bringing ministry where we will be telling them in as loud a voice as we can that here is what we are offering. We will also be having about of our young people graduating through. We have taken time to assess across. We will be graduating them and having other young to see it and be able to this is something that is for them. So we are having a personality as that in our government coming to so that we can be able to loudly announce that here with us, RPL is something that is working by the government, and therefore the government is taking who are out there with their skills that come. We are going to certify you, and you are going to be actually better. Because you see, Vivian, who knows how to do what as a government, as a ministry, to train our youth as practically, even those who are going to be coming to class, we still want them to 70% of their time, because it is very important young people learn how to practically do. Therefore, we want to make a very loud statement that you who are skilled are to this country. Come, we certify you and you on that route.
So the graduation happening on the 20th, that's on Friday.
Yes.
That will be the first cohort.
Yes.
Of RPL.
In Kenya.
Graduation in Kenya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Is the certification different? Like, can people bring their certificates, to the table? Can I certificates? Or it's just the same as any other?
Yeah, but even now they vary. Even now they vary according These are artisans, so it's very according to that. Artisan is a craft people, maybe diploma. So that is what will be.
It will just be written, you know, this diploma is a what? Diploma.
No.
Yeah.
Graduated at level 3, you are level 3. So we are saying from there, you can now move to level 4. And it's not going to be an RPL grade 3, no. Be certified at grade 3 as.
All right, maybe since this is the first cohort, so you've walked along with them in the assessments, you've said it's around
Actually 883.
883.
Yeah.
So that you have encountered, you know, in this first, call it a pilot.
It's quite a number. One among many is the assessment itself. You know, so the assessment itself was challenging because of the assessors, you know, getting the assessors. Two is the distance, especially the person. They have to move from where they are situated that are assessing them. So the challenge was the issue of this, the early stages. And then another factor was the finance aspect, both to the as well as the person coming for assessment. Although the amount is not as it is formal sector. It is quite friendly, but it is still. Another aspect is, as we speak, there are only 800. Implies awareness should be continually done. So publicity is still a challenge. Another factor is centered. People are wondering what is all this about. Is also another hampering point. It is another. And how can we kill it? It is true, maybe that the deputy president in that very high to launch at the same time award the certificates approach, and that in itself also will create all this because it's a fast cohort, and you know the challenges. Another aspect is which is also key, that they are now in the industry. They might come on board. Yeah, so it's an area that we still maybe ask to ensure that we have assessment centers in all. Let us have in all the 47. Let's grow to all the 47 around now. Let's use also the technical that very county. That in itself will know that very number, because the information reaching us is persons that are out there with requisite skills and competency. Yes.
To add to that, what Vivian, is also the technical question of able to rally their portfolio of evidence. Not even people who may have the phones to be able to have themselves record, to be able to present to the assessors, because the evidence of what you not be able to put together in a smart way that we are able to look into an extra mile of our assessors come through with this evidence of skills, whereas some of them are able to put to proof that this is what they have been doing. Some of them have videos or things like that, but it is not able to put their what we call the portfolio of evidence in properly packaged. So that is another challenge. The biggest challenge we have here is a lot of people are not come on board, and we can work together and be able to this level. But now, like we have already said, and with working with to reach out to those, especially in the mashinani, much more of this in the near future.
Yeah. To the costs, you know, you touched on it a bit. Maybe as much as of education, but my question is on, you know, one way of education or the traditional education, there are scholarships, you know, the likes of HELP. Do we have the same on this other side, and is it something that you're looking can't afford, you know? There's someone who dropped out of money and they went to the informal, had a proper skill, maybe they are really good, but for them to come back to be assessed and get through RPL, they also need money for that. So maybe get scholarships on this as well.
To get there, because, you know, scholarship support, financial support is, but it's just a single assessment, probably 3 hours, so it's not so much costly. The cost of transport, moving from your place of work to the, but we have also encouraged that the assessor person and assess at that point going on with that that work. Also is not very costly. We have a tool, and I think it's almost true for assessment.
One day thing?
It can be 1 day. It can be 2 hours, 3 hours.
So it's a one-time thing?
It's just one-time thing.
Immediately or after getting
There's
assessed,
a process
how does
of
that
acquiring
move?
certificate, and we have the qualification awarding institutions like 10. The 10 asked to actually are the ones who are giving that person that certificate. Yeah. So they assess, and then they go and maybe analyze that, send that to the qualification awarding institution. Or now, it's a process. Everything's a process. Yes.
Maybe you can put a figure to
I
it.
can attest now that amount now. Yes. Unless was serious.
Yes, Vivian. I honestly don't remember the amount we are charging. But like Mheshimiwa said, it could actually take, depending on the, like what I call the portfolio, what is available for assessment. So you could everything available with you in regard to what we are looking for as assessors. Longer, depending on what we need you to bring on. You need to come to site and be able to. So what we need to tell Kenyans here, this is a tedious process. This is a process that is absolute. So that by the time we give you a full certificate, we are actually and externally. Remember, we are also working with out there who actually know what. All right. So we industry is on board, so that whatever we are is that we are certifying as being right to give certificate, is there is no doubt about it. You whether it is going to take a short while, like I said, or it is going to take some time for us to get. What we want to be sure of is that at the end of the day, U4 is absolute.
All right. We take a short break. We'll be back.
On KBC, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best. Indeed. Feel the passion.
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew it! Her making fun of me!
Experience the...
Who is the man in this one?
The laughter. Bit.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
Latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow!
The full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's...
For joining us.
In the pursuit of WRC Safari Rally traverses Kenyan terrain. A path with diverse challenges and the drivers' strength, toughness, speed, and willpower. We launch with the Kasarani cruise through Elementaita on Saturday. Hell's Gate on Sunday, where the winner will be crowned. Daily news, highlights, and competitors' interviews.
That's it.
As we race to the top. On KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Okay, and we are back. Before we took that, Madam PS, we were just talking about the... I had not really mentioned, but right now you have the figure. So
Yes.
if you just give us the figure.
Yes, we are charging 25,000 and the certification. We are not saying that, but we also want to say that it is a to the process of being in school. So we will have them pay that amount. If and when they do not have it, working partners like KCB, like Equity Bank, and we are encouraging them to also, they might be able to give them a small loan to be able to pay so that they can access this paper, because important paper for them. Okay. We have small scholarships which they can be able to access. They come to us for advice, we will be able to guide them on money. But like the Juakali sector, to pay for their clients to be able to get assessed. I'm very happy working with the Juakali sector, who are work because they work, so they're even paying for them to get the certificate. Is the figure, Vivian.
All right.
Yes.
Honorable Kipti, who can apply for RPL?
Now, for all of us. Those that are in the formal, those that are in the formal sector. Youth that are out of school, class or never went to school, even the retirees, so the migrants, we also the refugees eligible for assessment.
But it's you wanted to add on to that?
Yes,
Okay.
actually, with the Honorable Kiptis a few days ago to his village, where we have been the who have not been doing very, very good things, and we have agreed going there. We are going to invite them. We are going to talk to them, connect them to this process, which is going to encourage a lot more formal now. So even there in the wilderness, and I mentioned about who we are already bringing on board through Ujuzi. We are going to go all the way, and I've already spoken to Honorable Kiptis. We also have an PS. What was his name? Who is going to hold us on this, because he's those who are in to want to bring as many of these youth on board from the bushes and be able to help them, and they are going to start feeling good about themselves.
It's a new concept. How can employers come in to support?
Thank you. They are already there. Yes, we are with them.
What is this?
Employees are there.
Yeah.
The Chuakal sector is right from the villages, offices, the CEO, and the chairperson. Yeah.
Are institutions now embracing it? You mentioned actually are can assess and certificates, but are other institutions coming on?
They are ready. What we did is it's new, so we did first cohort is courtesy of that piloting. We have Tetanam presented their we have a number of institutions also ready to present theirs, because they are enough certifications. Yes, maybe crowdsmen, institutions where people are doing building and construction in enough certifications. So we are working with employers also to have quality and standard work. They are really appealing to us also to support them in that assessment.
Yes, to add to that, Vivian, we are providing the industry experts who are the external and allowing us to even assess our people within the industry, so that they are this process, so that we together with them, that these are people who are well skilled and should be able to be absorbed within. So we are working in both assessing them, help assessors, and also absorbing the, because for a long time they have complained that they employ train them. Now we want to tell them that we have the skills, the competencies, all them, and they can be able to absorb them within the industry or the tasks that are within there. And I had already said before, we can use all our institutions are available in even the villages as assessment centers, because we from the big institutions will be able to go there and assess and be able to use the industries in the local to have them internally ourselves, assessed by the industries there, and then be able to the national polytechnics where we are going to be writing out of their certificates. Yes. So the government is in, like we have already talked about the certification. Excellency, the President himself is on top of speaking into the skilling the youth formally is concerned. So as a government, we are bringing in the industry institutions to be able to ensure that they only have the competencies, but they are certified for them. Yes.
Do I go for? Okay. For example, small institution like this, formal institution, can we call upon you, to come and do assessments on institution? For example, as a presenter, probably for a couple of years, I have gained a skill in this. After I'm done with this, I go to the camera person and is it possible for me to be assessed, here? Like an institution, a formal institution, to call upon you to come and their institutions.
Let's go, Vivian. We also on a skill break that we have curriculum on. All right. So we decide we are going to be assessing presenters like you and the cameramen around. You first of all that we come up with a address that. Right now I am not sure, or I do not have a curriculum on your space.
Okay.
So if we agree that we are also saying as a department that we would want to with industry, from industry. So if we agree to work with this industry, with yourselves, is to sit a curriculum that is so that we are now sure with that curriculum, industry is well trained to start curriculum. Okay, so once we have that curriculum with assessment tools, okay, which all the competencies in this industry, so we would have skills specific use. After we are through with we would take them to our authority, the Tibet authority, assess them and be able to assure everybody are absolute. Once we have the tools now, Vivian as a presenter, and now be able to the curriculum we prepared, the tools we are prepared as well and well crafted, so that now we assess you as a presenter, etc., etc. So once we have been able to work with, be able to come up with all that I have explained, we will come up ourselves, be able to the people here now as the external assessors to tell is doing very well as a presenter. The other doing very well as a camera person. So we will come a curricula which we have prepared with you, and then assessment tools together with the people.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, as we almost finish off with this, government, the private sector, and TVET Institute to support RPL.
We are working together already, Vivian. Part of government represented by my already explained the part of industry, curriculum and the assessment together with and our players in this field. So, Vivian, represented here by the Ministry of twinning with industry completely to be whatever we are coming up with, whether within our training addresses the industry needs. To go to a space where we are claiming that the graduates or the industries are half-baked, to assess them out there through RPL. All we are going to want to ensure as government is through the institutions is that the person who finally arrives, this one, is well trained to just start off the work. And that is why, Lillian, we have taken time to recraft our curricula as TVET to ensure that the other day actually challenged me that we should recraft our curricula into micro qualifications, medium qualifications, and absolute qualifications. Keep you for 3 years in the institution to learn. We want you to come to our institutions, be able to train you in our institution and also in this industry, where that Vivian can now do her work. We first start a mini qualification. If you can come. If you want to come back and be able to medium qualification, you come. We will train you in our industry, also in this industry. Half or 70%. We medium qualify you. And if you want to continue whatever level you want, we will be able to work together. So as government, in industry, within our institutions, to is qualified and is certified at the various.
All right, Honorable Kiptis, what role does the Kenya National Qualifications Authority play?
Vivian, you are aware that is to coordinate and harmonize education in Kenya. So our role in this is the qualification awarding institutions up with policies that addresses those. PL is domiciled in KNQA. Yes.
Have you looked at ways to have fake certification?
We have done it. We have done it. RPL is also going to address that, because in RPL qualifications, it is more practical. The skill, it is feasible. It is feasible. Address the issue of fake qualification.
Yeah, I feel like this.
And fake qualifications come about probably the institutions that are awarded are not credited. If they are not accreditation, then the certificate that comes of that institution. Secondly is validation. You get certificates, but they are not validated. Then that ceases being fake. Also to appreciate what the national government has done. The employers out there to ensure that their employees have credible certificates. So far, been going through and I want to appreciate the qualification award, the colleges and the universities that have been so to appreciate the agencies out there, CIs, who are actually supportive, and we want to employers to really do employing. Before one is awarded an employment, employer should carry due diligence. There are certifications, doing what you call validation. Cease the issue of fake certificate. Employers that when they are doing promotions, they should actually carrying due diligence in those certifications. KNQA is there to support them, ensure that fake certificates. Yes.
Yes. To briefly add, Vivian, KNQA certifications database, where using whatever I to know that Esther has this certificate. So that is a major role of KNQA. Just like NEC also has a go to NEC, request for certificate, you'll be able to get it, and that is another role of KNQA as well. Having that database where Honorable Kiptis has put it, if you want to do your due diligence, walk there and we'll be able to tell you whether this certificate. Secondly, again, like we have said, is a way of ensuring that you have a certificate of what you can do. There is reduced. Let me say, like again, Honorable Kiptis, of having a fake certificate is criminal. The bodies within our country that are helping us, again, Kiptis has said, let us have who are interested in these certificates. With a body like KNQA, you'll through checking what there could be out there.
Okay, I'll take with you, Madam PS.
Yes, my Vivian is really to encourage all our register and be able to be accepted within our Tibet institutions. Our young people that now we want to train 20% of our, so that nobody has to think that and this laborious academic journey does. And more importantly is that none view themselves as failures unless you want to a failure. Everybody has an opportunity. As a government, we want to ensure that every opportunity to get a certificate and to be out there giving country. And Vivian, we are looking at as the people who are going to be the of this country. How? Industries are skilled, pools of skilled people in any area, because industrialization, it requires man, it requires machinery, market. Of all the four, man. So we as a department, as a ministry, this man that is going to babysit the industry. We are calling upon our young people, opportunity prepared. Let them come to us. We are going to assess them. We are going to certify them in industrialization of this country. Is to call upon our youth. We have readied our to be able to skill them in readiness for the industrialization.
Thank you. Honorable Kiptis.
Thank you. I want to still to youth out there of the new transformation in the education sector. We have now 3 pathways of the 3 pathways. Utilize your own development and for your own self-fulfillment. If it is not the one for formal learning, right from the PhD level, take advantage of this RPL. This will give you your success and development in life. Thank you.
So much, Honorable Stanley Kiptis and P for gracing our studios today, and also for very new concepts that we are still getting to recognition of prior learning. And right now, this is where we end this. Go too far. Good Morning Kenya continues with Mike Migwe.